What's up, everyone? Welcome to 30ish. It's our first show.
Yes.
Wow, how are we feeling about this?
I'm so excited.
Yes, it's going to be a great show. So on today's show, we have our very own Maria Provenzano showing us how to create a simple, healthy meal. And later on, we are going to have a guy come in and explain to us how he turned a simple hobby into some extra cash.
I love that.
Because we all need some extra money, right?
Amen to that.
But first, let's get into the ish. All right.
The ish. So I can't open up Facebook or turn on my television set without seeing what's going on in this political election right now.
Oh my God.
Donald Trump versus Hillary Clinton is crazy. But one thing that I've noticed is some people are voting with facts while others are voting with emotions. Are you guys seeing this?
Yeah,
Definitely.
I definitely see that. For me personally, I feel like I have to see the facts. I like to see what this particular candidate is going to do for our country. If I voted on feeling, that would be a whole nother different kind of vote. But I want to make sure that, you know, the next president is going to progress us forward as a country rather than hold us back.
I'm with you, Tony. I'm definitely all about the facts because I want to know that you're able to handle this responsibility and you can actually make change and a difference. I think feeling you could just go with anybody and be charmed by anyone and kind of just go along with that, but that's not going to produce results. So I need to know that you can handle this job.
I think everyone wants to go with facts, but like when you hear some of the rhetoric, it's so hard not to go with the emotions and be like, I can't believe he just said that. Or, I can't believe she just lied.
Yeah, but you have to trust your instincts. Like, you cannot just be like, oh, this person, because there are people that we meet and they're good on paper, okay, but they're a hot mess in real life. But trust your instincts and know that whether they're good on paper or not, that you made the best decision you felt was the right one. So I'm okay with you taking some emotion as a part of it because that's really to the core what's going to tell whether you're right or not.
So you kind of like a mixture of both. Give me some facts, but also I'm going to go how I feel.
That's how life, that's the best, those are the best decisions you make in life.
Yeah.
50-50.
Well, in politics, so much of life is politics right now, but I think most people vote out of feeling, to be honest with you, because when you're in a time of turmoil, you know, you think of 9/11 and, you know, certain parts of the, like when we were in the crash in 08, things like that. So you want a leader who can step in front of you and have that inspirational charisma that you can, like Newt Gingrich is one of the most brilliant minds in politics, but people don't like him. He probably would make a great president because he's very intelligent, but he doesn't inspire people. So there is, and it has to be a balance of both, honestly.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like you have to have your facts first and foremost. And if you vote just on feeling, I mean, you may or may not make the best decision. So I feel like, you know, you need to have some sort of facts to back up.
But the media is really putting out a lot of feelings. The headlines that they put out sometimes are the most ridiculous things. And you see these headlines and they're completely false. And they cherry pick pieces of a speech or pieces of a segment and make it this big attention getter headline. And unfortunately, a lot of people are not that informed and don't take the time to go get those facts. And they judge their opinions and they form their opinions based off of these ridiculous headlines.
Well, I think this election is tricky too.
It is.
I mean, I feel like the candidates have kind of almost been plunged into something where they are kind of playing on people's feelings. And you're right, with the media mixture, I think it's just kind of, it creates confusion, I think, with people because they're not really reading the facts or going through all the information.
But this show, this
show.
It's a show. No, you were right.
It has turned into a reality show, unfortunately, and it's really diluted. I think, and embarrassed us as a people, as American people. I'm embarrassed for how the election is going so far. I think that they need to both parties need to take it more seriously and present us with the best candidate, regardless of the show or not. Like, I don't listen to the news like that because I know I worked in the news and there is a selected amount of information that you get. So as a regular person, you need to do your own research. You need to find out what's really going on. And at the end of the day, the president is really only one of the decision makers in the world of all the political people that we have in office. And so it's not just about the president, but it's about the big picture. And unfortunately, there's some decisions that are going to be made regardless of who we vote for.
Right. Well, there's one decision that parents have made nowadays is that when they discipline their kids, I'm starting to notice that parents are now doing what's called social media shaming, where they are mixing in like the old school ways of, whooping their kids. Because I know I got
camera.
whooped. Yeah, but now they're
Beating them on
doing it
camera.
on camera and posting it on social media.
Wait, they're videotaping themselves like spanking
Beating
their
their
child?
kids,
Yeah.
posting it
Yeah.
on.
And
There's
posting it.
there's that, or
to
yelling
shame
them
their
at,
kids.
yelling at them. Yeah.
Or I saw a video where this young girl was bullying another girl because she had cancer, and so the mom decided to cut her hair to show her, to discipline her, and basically say you shouldn't make fun of someone in that position. So Maria, question for you, being our mom on the panel,
Yes.
how do you feel about this form of discipline, and do you discipline your child?
Well, no, I don't agree with this. Hands down, don't agree with this. But I also come from a family where I was never once spanked in my entire life. I've never been hit.
At all?
Never once in my life.
That's
not
crazy.
once.
I
I have
don't know.
never
You're
been.
the first person
I have
I've
never
ever-
been
Yeah,
hit.
you must have
So-
been a good girl.
no, and I wasn't though. But
Yeah.
that's the thing, I wasn't.
Yeah.
But I got in trouble, and they hit me where it hurt in the sense that they took things away from me that were important to me. You know what I
see.
mean? So they hit me
You
where
were
it hurt,
punished.
but I was never physically. I was never once touched in an abusive way. But as a parent, I can't. For one, because I wasn't ever hit, I can't imagine hitting my son. It's just, my thing. My husband actually believes in spanking, but he's not allowed to do it. So it was just like, sorry, mom makes the decisions.
Yeah.
But when it comes to this social media thing, I think the punishment when the mom, and I did not know this, I am blatantly shocked. The girl making fun of the other girl for having cancer and the mom made her shave her head. Kudos, because I think that's brilliant. But I do not think you should take videos of you and in my opinion, this is my own. You abusing your child and putting it on the internet, I think is ridiculous.
But there's a difference between abuse and discipline. So
I don't agree with that. But that's okay.
I was raised where you got whooped because you did something bad. Most of the time you did something you were told already not to do, right? It wasn't like you did something, it's like, this is why we're going to tell you how to do it. You did something wrong, and I told you not to do it, but you did it anyway. So, yeah, I've been backslapped. I was spanked with an ironing, a cord from the iron. I was whipped with a rose bush. I was hit on the knuckles with a hairbrush. My family believed in discipline, and I was a great kid, but I think there is a fine line between discipline and abuse. Abuse is where you need help. You need physical help. I gotta take you to the doctor.
Right.
You gotta be wrapped up and all that stuff. I just cried because my feelings was hurt and I was embarrassed or whatever the case may be. But I definitely didn't do that stuff.
That sounds like
But I was
abuse.
a great kid.
See,
I was
that's
a really, really
That's
good
abuse,
kid.
and in my own personal opinion, that's abuse.
I don't think you have to. I think abuse, physical reprimanding is the quick fix. I don't think that is the best fix. I think that you can mentally and emotionally raise your kids. If you're training a dog, and I'm not comparing kids to dogs, but some of the best dog trainers in the world, you don't hit the animal to train the animal.
I
For a
agree
lot
with
of
you guys,
people,
but I also think it's a
quick fix.
cultural
No,
thing,
bad.
too.
It takes more effort and more work to get mentally and emotionally
Yes.
to discipline.
That could be
kids
true,
than it
but I
does
think it's a
to
cultural
backhand them.
thing too. I definitely think it's a cultural thing, and unfortunately, just most of the people that I knew were raised under the same pretense. Even cursing. My aunt and uncle, I lived with them for a while, and they washed our mouth out with soap if we said words that were not curse words. If I said shoot, not
really?
the bad word, I
Yeah.
said shoot or dang.
That's too close
That's
to the
too
real
close,
word.
Right, too close to the real word. So
you got to nip that in the bud
You got
now.
a bar of soap in your mouth.
Well, for me, I feel like parents nowadays are trying to, I don't want to say be hip,
friends.
but you have to do something to the child now in order to make them understand. When we were growing up, getting a whooping or being on punishment or getting grounded, that was our form of punishment. Now with the millennials, social media and being on Facebook is so important to them. So if they are embarrassed, by this video, I feel like parents are now saying I now have to really teach you a lesson.
But here's the thing with that. When you put them on social media and you embarrass your child, you're actually contributing to low self-esteem, low self-confidence.
Exactly.
And I think the parents aren't thinking about that because they're maybe too consumed with thinking about, how I'm going to shame them and I'm looking good or bad or whatever it is. But, my parents, like, I was never hit either, but I did get punished for doing things, and I'd get timeouts and whatnot. But I think that to put that on social media, I didn't know about this either.
I think
like,
it's
I was so
disgusting.
surprised. Yeah, I think that's your personal business. It should not be out there for the world.
That
and at the end of the day,
stays with the
you
child.
have to think,
Yeah.
yes,
Detrimental.
it's going to stay with the kid.
Right.
They're not gonna do it again.
That's true.
And that's true. Or
That's
you
true.
could maybe
But you can
threaten
get
it.
the
You could
same
threaten
result
them
without
and say,
doing
I'm
all
going to
the
put it
You
damage.
out.
don't know that. There's good kids and there's bad kids. There's some bad
And then there's just
kids out here.
bad-ass kids.
And I'm gonna say this.
I
I,
think
don't
it
know
comes
how I'm
from
gonna
the
deal with my
parents.
kids. I would prefer honestly to not ever spank my kids. Like, even though I was raised that way, that doesn't mean I'm going to do that. But again, if my child is bad as hell, I might do like physically like reprimand them.
But would
I'm
you
not
put it on
going
social
to.
media?
I don't know. It depends on what it is. Like, if I just yell at them or make them apologize on social media, I'm not physically doing anything to them. I'm just making them the same way that they embarrassed someone else and was mean to someone
Eye for
else.
an eye.
If I make them apologize publicly on social media, we're gonna use it the bad way you were using it. We're gonna use it for good.
So I think it's the way that you discipline using social media.
Yeah.
I think that some of the tactics of like showing your child getting a whooping or the cutting of the hair or something like that, maybe that's a step too far. But if they do something via social media that's getting them in trouble and having them apologize for or make
Yes,
them recognize
that-
what they're
yes.
doing,
Yeah,
then I think
absolutely.
that's a good punishment. However, when that camera turns off, you
might
whoop
get a
that child
switch.
ass. That's what you need to
Okay,
do.
all I need to say about that is like you guys might change your mind once you have children
Very
because
true.
it's just a different animal once you make a human, and you might see something different in the way you teach your children because you sometimes don't want to be like your parents in certain ways, and you find that out once you have kids. And I mean, just kind of like one last word on this, a lot of times in my own personal experience when I've gotten so frustrated, because I always say I do like the bicep grab, or I'll just be like, oh my god, you're so. It's more my own frustration, and you have to understand that they don't. And I have a toddler, so I think it's different when they're a teenager. I haven't gotten there yet, but a lot of times when there's, and I'm sorry, I'm going to say it because it's my opinion, but it's abuse to me. When the abuse happens, that's frustration out of the parents. They're letting out their frustration. You're not teaching your child anything. And on that note, we will be back with more Ish in just a minute.
The primaries are over.
And the general election is heating up.
Join us live every Tuesday night
We'll talk politics and global issues.
Black lives and domestic issues.
and trending topics.
Be sure to subscribe to Black Hollywood Live to catch every show because this is our culture.
Your culture.
Political culture.
Welcome back, everybody. Let's get right into the ish.
All right, well, before we get into the ish, we have to welcome someone very special into the 30s Club, our very own Steven! Happy birthday!
That was not planned. I am literally surprised.
Lights and everything.
Happy birthday, see? Just happy birthday.
Yeah.
And on that, you guys tell us, what were your thoughts about turning 30? And did you have any fears?
I mean, do I have any fears? I like to think of myself as a little bit of a fine wine, just kind of getting better with age a little bit. No, but I mean, I was really looking forward to it. I mean, it is inevitable, so I think the best approach is just to embrace it. But you know, as I advance in my career, more opportunities come up. I see different possibilities in terms of like where I could live, things I could do. I do gain more life experience, so I'm excited about life and getting older and just embracing it. Yeah.
Nice.
Well, for me, you know, it was just yesterday too. So,
Of course.
Hey y'all, hey. You know, it was just another milestone. I think I was working so hard at the time that I don't even remember. I don't think I did a birth. Like, I don't remember all that stuff because I've just been on the grind since I was like 6. It was just another day for me. Honestly, I turned 21 again. You know,
Oh.
and I was just excited about making more money, killing it in my career. And I did so much in my, you know, early career that it was like, okay, you just got to go harder, take over the world, make your vision board bigger, inspire more people, get more awards, like beat yourself. That's really what it was. I wasn't trying to beat anybody else. I was just trying to top
I love that.
myself. And that's a hard thing to do, actually. So, you know, still doing it.
For me, when I turned 30, I just had this thought of like, oh my God, I'm 30, and I didn't feel like I was where I wanted to be in life. I thought I was gonna be this big time actor, like making like all these commercials and films and doing all this stuff, and I just realized that I wasn't there yet, and I wanted to do more things, and I wanted to take more risks. So actually, to celebrate my 30th birthday, I did 30 things in 30 days before I turned 30.
Oh,
and I wrote down a list of all the things that I wanted to do before I turned 30. And for 30 days, I just forced myself to do it. And it was like one of the best experiences that I had, and it just taught me that you can do whatever it is that you want to do, and sometimes you don't necessarily have to have a plan, you just have to take a risk. And so that's how I wanted to enter my 30s.
What was like the best thing you did during that 30
That's a great question, yeah.
30-day period?
The best thing I did was I took this random trip to Denver. I called the airline and I was like, don't tell me where I'm going. Just it's from this day to this day, major city. Just give me the prices. Don't tell me where it's going. And I told them I'll choose that one. I bought a ticket. I went to the gate, and I had no idea where I was going until I got to the gate.
Explored.
Yep. And I had like a 2-day vacation there.
Nice.
So it was fun. It was fun.
I am not ballsy enough to do that. And so, well, for me, when I turned 30, I was actually kind of dreading it. And then my son's birthday is the day after mine. So forever, for the rest of my life, I will never get to like really have a birthday because his birthday will always overshadow mine. But turning 30 it was all encompassing for me. I have a beautiful son who I am grateful for every single day. I love my husband, some days more than others. No, but I do. He's a trooper. Being married to a creative person, I think, is a lot harder than he thought it was going to be. Because being married to someone in the entertainment industry and also someone who's a creator, we're kind of all over the place. So I think it made me very, very grateful for him as well. And then, I was with my family, my parents. So for me, when I turned 30, I was with it was almost like my wedding. I was with all the people who were really, really important to me, and I was very much at ease. I felt very comfortable. I was very comfortable with what I had accomplished by the time I hit 30, because something I tell myself every single time is I always want to become the person I dreamed of being when I was a kid. I want to make my childhood self proud. So that's what I always think about.
Yeah.
Cool.
Very nice.
Well, for me, 30 was very exciting. I think because it was starting a whole new decade, and like Niena, I'm very ambitious, very career-oriented, and I thought this is going to be that next set of years where I'm going to make big strides. Like, I'm going to make my goals come to fruition. I'm going to live life to the fullest. So when 30 hit for me, I actually was very excited. I celebrated with a bunch of really good friends and family, and was out, didn't do any crazy parties or anything. But yeah, it was really just about looking forward to the next 10 years and trying to make things come alive, and as a performer, as an artist, and just make my career be the best that it can.
Yeah. Nice. Well.
So yeah.
Welcome to the 30 Club.
That's
Welcome.
Happy to be here. Yeah. Awesome.
All right. Well, on that note, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and that ends it for our 30ish. But we've got lots more for you on 30ish.
Hey guys, Maria Menounos here. We want to let you know about my new show on SiriusXM Stars Channel 109. It's called Conversations with Maria, and it's live Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. Go to conversationswithmaria.com for more info.
All right, welcome back to 30ish. Now, we all have a little hobby that we enjoy, but what if that hobby can earn you some extra cash? This is our segment, Hobbies to Cash.
Please welcome Eric Wilkin, who's taking two of his extra hobbies, or his hobbies, I should say, and turn them into extra cash. Yay.
Welcome, Eric.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
So tell us about the first hobby that you have.
The first hobby I have is creating handcrafted greeting cards myself. I do it often. I love it, and it does end up making me hunk of cash, which is nice.
But now, okay, but look, I love greeting cards, first of all. I'm the person that you'll see in the store who's stuck in that Hallmark section for God knows how long, because I just love wordings, you know, I love it.
Yes.
I always wanted to actually be a Hallmark card designer, secret little passion. But like, how did you go into this? Because, I mean, were there cards not available in the store? Like, what made you sit down and actually want to create them?
Yeah, so when I would need a thank you card or a happy birthday card, a lot of the times I would go in and see many cards that have like foo-foo and frilly and lots of glitter, and I wanted to send something in the mail that was more fit for my personality. So I decided to like make some things on my own. I also found that sometimes thank you cards in particular have a lot of space to write, and really, what are you trying to say in a thank you card? You really
thank you.
Right, yeah. 2 or 3 sentences pretty much wraps it up. So, you know, put a big stamp on there, leave a little space for a message, send it in the mail. It's beautiful. People love it. So.
Well, you brought some with you.
Yeah, I sure did. Yeah, no, absolutely.
Those.
So some birthday cards and thank you cards. I actually made these recently.
Nice.
Yeah.
See, these are great.
These are great. Oh,
Easy.
so here's a thank you card he's talking about.
Yes. And sometimes you don't want like, and see, these are neat because look, normally thank you cards, like you have to open them, you have to sign it and all that kind of stuff. This is simply just like a thank you.
Yes.
This is great.
Yeah, it's more like a note card. I call those where they don't fold. And then some of the ones, like this one is a Christmas card. Actually, I made from a card that I received. I took the embellishment and turned it into a new card so I could pass along that to somebody else.
That's pretty clever.
Very clever.
Yeah.
So I'm going to call you for like when I need a card for Tony.
Yeah.
It better be a thank you card.
But now, Eric, you're making about what, $70 to $90 a month doing this?
Yeah, so it's anywhere from like $70 to $90. I sell the simple ones for around $1. I sell the not so simple ones for about $2. People end up buying more than one. Like, hey, I need 20 thank you cards, and then I just whip out, you know, a bunch of sort of the same one, which is nice. And they sort of have like a homemade feel. They're not exactly perfect.
Yeah.
So I don't brand them or anything on the back either. I just leave them so that when somebody else sends them along, they can also have the, hey, I made this feel when the recipient receives it.
So how do people hear about you? Is there a website?
You know, it's just sort of word of mouth. There's not a website for this. Friends, mostly family members, lots of my mom's friends who purchase for their husbands and sons to pass to so that they have something to send in the mail also. Yeah.
What do you get the most requests for? Thank you, birthday?
Thank you cards, definitely number one by far. Yeah, and so these are, I use the embossing, some embossing tools. Those are actually stamps that I use to make those. But yes, thank you cards are number one.
And do you also maybe like if someone wants it a little more personal or like, do you talk to them and just kind of like work through the creative process and say, oh, you can kind of create your own card or like?
Yeah, so I actually know how to create custom stamps if somebody wants something very specific. That costs a lot more than $1 or $2 per card. But that is available, so I do that also.
Nice. So along with this, you also have another little hobby that you like to do, which is turning someone's trash into some coins.
Yeah.
So what is it that you do with that?
I sell things on eBay often. I sell my friends things on eBay. I sell family members things on eBay. And I take a little percentage, and you know, then those items have new owners.
What do you mean by friends? So are you actually going into their homes and getting this stuff, or how does that work?
Yeah, so a lot of the time I'll have friends that say, hey, I need to clean out my closet, or hey, I'm cleaning out this room, or hey, I have all of these things that I'm throwing away. I say, pause. I'm going to come over. We'll take a look at what you have. We'll set aside some things that maybe won't sell, and we can donate those items. Set aside some things that we think will sell, and then I list those things on eBay.
Eric, I need you to come over to my house. I have 2 rooms full of stuff.
That's what everybody says.
And I think a lot of people don't realize, because we're in that moment of like, we just want to get rid of stuff, and no one realized that the things that you're getting rid of, you may actually be able to get some cash for it.
Absolutely. I mean, do you know how many things that are in your closet that actually are new or you've barely worn once that can go to someone else that are in great condition.
Yeah, exactly. And new items sell the best. I sell used items all the time, but new items with tags definitely sell the best.
Now, what is the most random thing that you have sold, and how much did it sell for?
Earlier this year, there was a event that happened, and I can't quite figure out why or what exactly happened, but those old VHS tapes, the Disney ones that came in the white cases when we were
with
kids.
the big, thick box.
Yes. So those, at the beginning of this year, for some reason, I noticed that they were going for quite a bit of money, and I sold a Lion King VHS for $200 on eBay.
Okay, but wait, how are they going to watch this stuff? Because a lot of people don't even own a VHS player anymore.
I don't even know if they make VHS players anymore.
I think I just recently heard that VCRs have died. Like, they have killed VCRs because they can't get the parts and stuff for it. But still, the fact that somebody's... Do you know, I got about $1,000 sitting at my mama's house now.
We got on eBay.
So, Mama, if you are watching, I'm coming home to get all those Disney movies because they're now available on DVD, and I'm going to sell them on eBay. That is amazing.
Yes.
Is it very time consuming though, Eric?
You know what? If you do have time to do it, it's a great way to make extra cash. It does take some time. You know, if you have an auction, you have it online for 7 days. You know, I actually don't go to the post office anymore. I do it all from home myself. So, but if you have time to go to the post office and learn how to do it, it's pretty easy to pick up, but yes, you do have to have some time. That's why it's one of my hobbies. You know, it takes some extra time, but when you have your phone on in the middle of the night and you hear that eBay noise and you're making money while you're sleeping, that's a real good feeling.
That is a real good feeling.
And it's a great hobby to have.
Yeah.
So, how much are you making a month doing this?
eBay, probably on a bad month, it's probably around $200. On a good month, it's probably around $400.
Shut up.
Yeah, so I try to circumvent my car payment completely, you know, but yeah, it's good. It helps pay bills. It's money that I wouldn't have had otherwise, and it's a fun hobby. Yeah.
You can get your whole car payment by going through someone else's stuff.
Seriously.
And I think I just found a new hobby. I think I'm going to start doing that. Well, Eric, thank you so much for sharing this wonderful tip, because I know a lot of people are always wondering how they can gain extra cash. And I mean, this is one of those ways that you can earn more money.
Oh, absolutely. We all have hobbies, right? And I think we just don't think about what we can do with it.
Exactly.
So this is a great way to utilize it.
Very great way. And you just gave us a new thought. So thank you for that, Eric. I appreciate that.
Thank you for having me.
So make sure you guys rummage through your closets and find something that's worth selling. But while you're doing that, don't go anywhere, because we have a whole lot more 30-ish coming up.
What's up, party people? Roxy Stryer here from The Tomorrow Show with Keven Undergaro. We're your twice-weekly broadcast of one man's midlife crisis and the mad millennials in Star Trek uniforms that follow him.
And I'm one of those millennials, Lauren LaGrasso here. We've had some amazing guests like Russell Simmons, Ileana Douglas, and Craig Gass. Coolio, right?
Christian Blatt in the house to tell you to go to thetomorrowshow.com to check us out. We're live every Monday and Thursday from 10 to midnight Eastern. That's thetomorrowshow.com. Be there or be square, whatever that means.
Welcome back. Cooking can be a daunting task, especially when you're trying to stay in shape and keep it right, keep it tight.
Yeah.
Right?
But our very own Maria Provenzano has a healthy and quick meal that you can make. It is time for From Scratch with Maria.
Yay! Take a look.
And I'm attempting to not look exhausted, but I want to show you guys a really great weeknight meal. So this one checks off basically all the boxes. It's quick, it's easy, it's healthy, and honestly you can mix it up in any way you like so it never really gets old. So it is my recipe for veggie tacos, and it is with my homemade taco seasoning recipe, which is on my website. It's something that you can make and have around, and it basically makes it so it turns any meal you want into a taco, but also into something with tons of flavor. And spices are a great way to make a meal taste really flavorful without adding anything bad. I know a lot of people think tacos, they think unhealthy, but I'm going to show you a way to make them healthy and a great way to get tons of veggies in your diet. So I'm gonna show you just how easy it is. This is 2 ears of corn, fresh corn that's cut off the cob. I recommend fresh if you can get it. If you can't, then get frozen. Do not get canned. Canned is yucky. And then 1 green bell pepper, 1 red bell pepper, and you could use 2 red or 2 green, but I like the mixture of the both. These are a little bit more earthy, these are a little bit more sweet, but I guess it's just up to you, whatever you like better. And then thinly sliced, just regular onion, and then zucchini. So you will see all of these are about, excluding the corn, are about the same size. So you really want them to be the same size, and they're gonna be able to go into the taco and lay long and really nice. So you don't wanna chop them up really small, otherwise it's easy for them to fall out of the taco. And then, of course, the taco seasoning. And the amount that you use will depend on how many veggies, how much water is in your veggies. So I kind of just play it by ear, and I'll show you guys how I put it together. Your pan, nice and hot, about medium high. Add in a couple tablespoons of, I just use olive oil. You can use whatever oil you like. I really like using coconut oil too. And then add in your onions. And you're gonna wanna cook these down for a bit and let them soften. And you cannot forget to add a sprinkle of salt. Now this is what allows the onions to soften and the vegetables that you're adding to soften really nicely. So after these start to soften over medium heat, then I add in the red peppers and the green peppers and another little sprinkle of salt. And it's important to add the flavors of salt with each addition because that allows everything to be seasoned nicely and evenly. You don't want to just add salt at the end. Plus, salt allows them to cook down and for them to soften the way you want them to soften. Okay, so these have been cooking down for a few minutes. I don't want it to be so hot that the onion's brown. You want it to just soften nicely. And then I add in the corn, a small sprinkle of salt. Remember, we're seasoning as we go. And lastly, the zucchini. And if you feel like the look, I guess, is getting a little bit too dry, you can add a little bit more of the olive oil or whatever oil you're using. Okay, now that everything is softened, I add in my taco seasonings. And then the secret to making it kind of like a sauce is you add kind of a splash of water. And the water will, of course, evaporate, but it helps spread the seasoning around. I have my corn tortillas here on a baking sheet lined with aluminum foil. Ones are made from stone ground corn, water, traces of lime. That's all you want. You don't want all the processed stuff in there. So I put the cheese on the corn tortillas and I put them under the broiler and I just let them melt. And see, then when they come out, it's just nicely, just slightly melted, and they're a little bit more easy to bend, and they won't break as easily. And as you can see, our mixture has cooked down nice, and you can see it's like nice and saucy in there. And then just take some of the mixture and then put it on here. Add as much as you like. And keep in mind, you're eating veggies. You can load this up. And then, of course, you can add anything else that you like some avocado, and I love hot sauce. So I'm gonna add that on, or salsa, anything else you like. And there you have it, easy weeknight veggie tacos.
All right, that is our cooking tip from our very own Maria. So I have a question.
Okay.
So for all of our ballers on a budget out there that wanna eat healthy and prepare all this healthy food, I mean, what's the cost to preparing meals like this?
Honestly, this is my go-to recipe because it's really inexpensive, and it's also a good way to save money because a lot of times we get overzealous and buy lots of vegetables and then we don't make them because veggies can be boring. But this is a good way to use up veggies like a bunch all at once because you can actually make this and then have it throughout the week. So it stores really nicely. It won't go bad.
Yeah.
So it can cost you probably about $10, and that'll feed at least 4 people.
Wow.
But and you can add to change it up. Add some meat if you're a meat eater. I know Niena's not, so this is perfect for you. It's veggies.
Yeah, or beans.
Beans is a great way to beans. I do another taco that has sweet potatoes and black beans in it. So if you need something more hearty and filling, that's a good way to go too. So it's a really good way to save money. But really, like, veggies are a really great way to get really, really full because you can eat so many of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And as far as time, though, so I am literally, like, I live at the airport. I live between L.A., Chicago, and the airport pretty much, and any other city I need to be at. So my time is so tight. Like, can I freeze this? Can I, like, put it in the refrigerator? Like, how do I store this?
I wouldn't freeze. I probably wouldn't freeze it.
Okay.
I think if you would have certain things, like zucchini can't be frozen. It's too watery.
Okay.
But this is something that you can make ahead of time and then have it throughout the week, or if you're doing, like, meal plans, if you're, like, going to the airport and you're OCD like me, you can make your food and bring it with you. So that's kind of I love it for all purposes, and it takes me like 10 or 15 minutes to make it. I make this on nights where I don't have time to cook.
Boom.
So that's it.
Y'all heard it first.
Yes,
Awesome.
And so you can find this recipe at FromScratchWithMaria.com, and we will be right back with 30ish.
Hi, I'm Katie Page.
And I'm Paul Ashton.
And we made a comedy feature film called This Isn't Funny that Maria Menounos and Keven Undergaro helped us produce.
Along with us, it stars Anthony LaPaglia, Eddie Gathegi, Mimi Rogers, David Pasquazi, Gia Carides, and Danielle Pennebaker.
And it features some hilarious stand-up comedy from Beth Stelling, Ahmed Barucha, Will Weldon,
and Katie. And you can stream the film right now in the US store of iTunes, on Google Play, and at Amazon.
And if you like it, please tell your friends, share it, and rate it.
Thanks so much, guys.
Well, that is it, y'all. Our first show.
Yes.
We did it. Oh my God, I feel like Dora. We did it. We did it. Yes.
Just say this. This is just the beginning. This is the warm up. We've got way better topics coming up. It's just going to keep getting better and better every week.
We got more topics coming up.
Stay with us.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, we had so much fun here today. We hope you guys did too.
Yes.
A very special thanks to Eric Wilkin for stopping by and sharing his hobbies with us, and to our very own dear Maria for sharing those delicious taco recipes. Yum. And we'll be back on Wednesday with a brand new episode, so make sure you join us again for another episode of 30ish.
All right.
From executives Keven Undergaro, Dario Kristen, Tiana Hobson, and the entire BHL staff, we would like to thank you for supporting Black Hollywood Live, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. For questions and comments, contact us. info@blackhollywoodlive.com. Like us on Facebook, tweet us, or Instagram us at BHL Online. And I am the official voice of Black Hollywood Live, Scipio. Instagram me @KingXOBay. Thanks for tuning in. The views expressed here are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of BHL or its owners or principals.